very hard for me to believe these goods. But if there's no suffering, what is going on? Suffering, you see what he answered. The guy said, but if there's no suffering, then what's going on? If the people's down the first place crying, shouting for my see, what's going on? And then the being say, suffering, but there will be none. Of course, for them, what? Even as I speak right now, there are people suffering, no food, no water, in wars, caught up in wars, caught up in injustice. And they still think that is for our only growth, that we deserve that and that we need it. You see the absurdity of all that is outrageous. It's really an absurd how this being think. These overlords, they are the overlords, the earth archons, okay? And the worst yet, the idiots here who worship them. Suffering, but there will be no, it's not you, as they say, jalapeno pepper on the eyes of others. Feels like cold water for me in my eyes. It's not yours. It's not your eyes. The pain is mine. It's not yours. After all, I'm sorry. So he says suffering, but there will be none. I'm sorry. What's going on is that they will appear to be suffering, just as they say that in here too, we appear to be suffering. Never mind that someone has cancer, never mind that when someone have their feet ripped off by a disease or an accident, never mind that people are dying of hunger or an animal, doesn't matter. Still, we are playing suffer. We are pretending that we are suffer according to your gods. But the part of them that is watching this will feel nothing, not even sadness. They will simply be observing. It's a lie. It's a lie. That's the higher self that will be observing because you have no empathy. It's the higher self, but not the being like say, okay, the Avatar, the Mary, the John, the Edwards, Jane, they are all suffering. They are, the part of the Avatar is suffering. All right. To use another analogy, it would be a bit like watching your child play act. No, no, the child don't play act. I'm sorry, but the child don't play act. The child is not playing act. Um, if they complain of a tummy ache, it's because they are really have a tummy ache. If a child complains of a toothache, it's because they really are having a toothache. If the child complains that they are hungry, it's because they are really hungry, and so on and so forth. And if they don't want to go to school because they have their concerns and they have the reason not to want to, you are wrong. And you are no good. You are unjust. You are sadist. Some little scene in your kitchen. The child appears to be suffering, holding her hand to her head or clutching her stomach, hoping that mommy will let her stay home from school. Mommy understands perfectly that nothing is really happening. There is no suffering going on. Yet the mommy, like you, is a sadist, a irresponsible mommy and daddy, irresponsible, cruel, evil, just like you are. Because a good mommy will say that, okay, stay home. Baby, you want to stay home, is it? Okay, stay home, mommy not going to take you. So if you have COVID or whatever, stay home, mommy take care of you. Okay. Go play for toys. Go take a rest. That's what will they say. And not beat the child, not send the child off to school. What kind of mother and father is that? I brought up 5 and I was like this with them. There is no suffering going on in your head, no suffering in your head. This is not an exact analogy, but it's close enough to get across the feeling. So these observers would be watching themselves in the self-created hell. It's a lie. There are such things as a hell. But they wouldn't know that it is not real. And when they have learned what they feel they need to learn, that is, remind themselves of what they have forgotten, remind themselves of what they have forgotten, which is worship those archons, worship them, then they will be free. Once you start to praise them, you will be free. They will release themselves and go on to the third stage of death. So first of all, they take you there to hell. Hell really exists. They take you there. You're gonna be imprisoned until you beg to get out of there. You beg. You literally beg the phones to let you out. And there's a lot of devil there, a lot of creatures. They punish you silly, and then they inspect you, say, oh my God, please help me, God, I have sinned, and God, forgive me. Then, after they have enjoyed their suffering for a long time, they'll decide that it's time to get out. You understand? That's how it's going to happen. But there's good news. Not you have to stay there for a long time. You don't have to, if you know how. What about those who have created a haven for themselves? Will they ever will they ever go to stage 3? Eventually, yes. They will remember all that they created, the experience of the haven, to remember that they will realize the same thing that they realize at the end of their earthly life, which is that there is nothing more to do. So they will move on. They will move on into stage 3 of death. Stage 3 of death. But I don't want to describe that just yet. Let's look at some other stage 2 possibilities for you first. Okay, like what? You could be one of those who die in a place of uncertainty about whether life goes on at all after death. Yes, I see. Okay, what happens then? You'll be confused and uncertain as to what is happening, and this will cause you to deal with what is going on in an entirely different way. You will realize that you are not your body, that you are dead. This happens to everyone in stage 1, but since you are uncertain about what, if anything, comes next, you may spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to proceed. Yeah, because it's very complicated. It's just, did anybody watch that episode of The Simpsons, whereby Homer will go inside that binary game room, and then he get lost, say, where I am? There's a lot of maze, abstract drawings. It's very confused, very, very confused. So we're going through this, more or less this. It's just like we are in a labyrinth, only that a more complicated one. If you come out, you open a door, you see that then there is a abysm of fire. You open another door, same thing. So you're stuck there, wherever you are. Then you're gonna be in parallel world, so to speak. Will I have help? All the help you can accept. With which condition? He didn't ask. What is the condition? What's the catch of this help? How will the help come about? What they want in return from this help? In the moments after your death, you will all find yourself in the presence of the most loving angels and guides and gentle spirits, including the spirit or essence she of everyone who has ever been important to you in your life. That one is a copy, is a kind of mimicry, and is a copy. It's not the real thing. They will make a copy of your loved ones and pretend that is them. So they will have all the help you can accept in the moments of their death. You will all find yourself in the presence of the most loving angels and guides and gentle spirits, including the spirit essentially or copy, that's why they say essentially of your loved ones that they had departed before you. But that will not be, don't come and don't be so casual with your mother or father or brother or sister because they not recognize you anymore. They are just like a programmed robot now. They don't know who you are. They are like, huh? I'm not your mother. I'm here only because I follow orders. That's it. But they will pretend that they know you. They will act kind and lovely if and when they are programmed on the other side. But once we die, finish, we lose our avatar. I'm not saying consciousness, but avatar, because consciousness and avatar is our personality are two distinguishable things. Okay, it's not the same thing. So my mom, my dad, my brother will be there. Those you have loved the most will be closest to you. They will surround you. Surround. But you're not going to see them. It's only an energy, a sense that someone is there close to you, but you won't be able to see them because now they basically and technically does not exist. That's wonderful. The presence of these loved ones and angels will be of enormous help to you, assisting you in becoming oriented and understanding exactly what is happening to you and what your options are. You see, they are programmed to follow. Then they will give you the options. What your options now? What you have to do? You're gonna go back and then I'm gonna give you this script for you to play the next reincarnation around. This time around, let's see how you fed this life. You have been miserable, have been happy. Have you have you all your way here, yes, have a good life. If so, how about now you twist switch games and now you play the miserable part. Yeah, they're gonna happen this. They'll give you a script, a different script or a continuation of your previous life if you, in case you haven't finished it, in case of suicide, or if you haven't quite complete what you come here to do as assigned by them, you're gonna have a chance between parentheses to continuing in the next life. I had heard that we are united for loved ones after death, no sense. That they help us cross over, and I'm so glad to know that this is true. It's only happen. I'm so sorry. You may even become aware of the presence of some. See, you may, not that you will for sure. You may become aware. It's not that you will see. You see how now he changed his statement. Before he said that you will see the presence of few. Now they say you may even become aware of the presence of some of you, of those loved ones before your death. So while you are there on the deathbed, your deathbed, about to die, you're gonna feel them. Before my death, yes, many people while they're still in their physical bodies announce to others in the room that they are seeing loved ones or that their beloved has come for them. These others in the room often try to convince dying people that they are seeing things, and they are seeing things that are very real, but things that other people cannot see because of their limited perspective. Your perspective widens immensely after death, and often the moment is just before you die. That's exciting. Now you almost make that sound exciting. It is exciting fact. Your death can be one of the most can be, but not always, can be the one of the most exciting moments of your life. It all depends on what you believe. As in life, in death, what you believe is what you experience. For instance, if you do not experience the presence of this spirit at the time of your death, it will be because you do not expect it to, and because the possibility of their presence lies outside of your belief system. Yet, if you so much as you hope that these loving presences will be there, you will immediately perceive them. I understand, so it's really important to be clear about your beliefs surrounding that. It's important in life to be clear about your beliefs surrounding everything. It's not just your death that is affected by your beliefs, but your whole life. Chapter 15. Death is intriguing, is exciting and intriguing and totally wonderful. I have been hearing for a very long time that my beliefs affect my life. I guess I just thought that some of different rules applied after death. I'm a little surprised to hear that even after death, I'm creating my own reality. Then I'm glad we are having this conversation. Wait a minute, what does that say about my father? My father believed that nothing happens after death. Absolutely nothing. If you die in a place of certainty that there is no life after death, once you realize that you have died, you will move immediately into stage 2, which will be the experience that there is no life. Wonderful. Then that means it's the same for suicides. It's the same for people who kill themselves. They'll experience nothing during stage 2. How can experience no life? You will experience nothing at all. There will be simply be no experience. Things will still be going on, but you will not be able to perceive them. It will be exactly as it would be now if you were sleeping while things were going on around you. Wonderful. I love that. I love this state of narcolepsy. I really love. So, is there no hope? My father died absolutely certain that there was nothing, no life of any kind, no experience whatsoever after death. So there is no hope for him. My brother had a brother and my father like this, also didn't believe. How I know it? I didn't see them. I didn't felt them after death. I didn't see them. Although I did saw one of my two other brothers who had gone before, two of my other brothers, and I have seen my sisters and my mother, except this one younger brother, younger than the other's brother, and my father. These two totally disintegrating, which I find wonderful. I like it. You know, I like it. I think they were the most right of the lots to have this kind of belief system. I think they just disintegrate and go back to cosmos. Again, when you die in that place, it's like falling asleep. In order to experience something else, you simply have to wake up. How can he wake up? The good news is that everybody wakes up, just as in every earthly life. You would not stay sleeping forever, so too will you not remain in obvious slumber forever in the afterlife. That's not the plan. The soul will awaken through the ministrations of loved ones and angels. Then it will wonder where it is, why nothing is going on and has happened. And what has happened, it will begin to put two and two together, and at that moment, the soul will move into conscious awareness of stage 2 of death. Oh, what a pit, what a pit. That's horrible. I really wish that they just go and disintegrate. And I believe that some will do. Some will. What will that be like? What did that experience? What he chose to then experience? Anything he wished to create, anything at all? Absolutely, but if there is confusion, the experience could be a bit confusing. Sort of a mishmash of quickly created scenarios that may or may not make sense. Mm-hmm. That doesn't sound very exciting. Don't you worry, it's not a bad thing, it's just about getting reoriented. It's like quickly flipping through all the TV channels with a remote. There's nothing harmful going on, you just have to decide which channel you want to watch. If you start to feel a little overwhelmed and beginning wishing that you had some help, you will immediately become aware of those loved ones and angels and spirits who have been hovering around you and ministering to you, waiting for you to notice they are there. And in event, you will soon settle on a picture from the thousands of pictures in your mind and you will start creating from there. But now it's important for you to understand that none of these scenarios that I have just laid out for you have anything to do with ultimate reality. That is experience in the third stage. The scenarios I have just described are the first two stages, which are all binary. It's not real. It's all gonna be binary. Some kind of a move, something like that in your play in your mind. So the scenarios I have just described are the first two stages, the earliest stages of your after death experience. Okay, so in the first stage of death, what occurs is that I will realize I'm no longer my body. In the second stage of death, I will move through whatever I have imagined or decide you're gonna play with your mind. You're gonna use your mind to create. It's a mental stage. The first one is still a bit physical because there's still gonna be life, energy is still in the body, so you're gonna still identify yourself with a body, although a bit flimsy and ethereal, more subtle. In the second stage, we start to now this time around, you're gonna create with your mind. It's gonna be a mental creation, mental until your the software of your mind is not the brain, it's totally different. The brain is something physical that goes with the depth of the body, and then what remains is the mental um, body or mental energy, something totally different. It's completely made of other atoms of energy. So you're gonna create with that. And when that too, the software finishes the battery, what's gonna happen is you're gonna go to the third stage of death, which is the ultimate reality. It's the absolute reality. And finally you meld with the cosmos, you go to the cosmos and you evaluate it, etc. Okay, go do time there, or after that decided not to return into physicality, be incarnated or reincarnated. Reincarnated meaning you bring a piece of you of your previous life. Incarnated, you start from zero, right? That's what that is all about. What happens when I die? And at this stage, will you describe that for me now? What will happen to me then? You will merge with the Senshi and begin to experience the ultimate reality at the core of your being. You mean God? You may call the ultimate reality or the you are anything that you wish. Some people call it the Senshi, some people call it Allah, some people call it the all. It doesn't matter what you call. Some call Brahma. Some call the energy, I would call it the cosmos and the universe. It's the same thing. What if that's exactly what I always thought would happen? What if what is exactly what you always thought would happen? What if what I always thought would happen immediately after my death was that I would be merged in God? Wouldn't that then be experiencing the second stage of death? Your idea about that would be experienced in the second stage. Yes, that's because in the second stage of death, you are still operating from your mind. This would be as pleasant and as glorious an experience as you could make it in your imagination. But then, in the final stage of death, you would have the experience as it actually is, not as you have imagined that it would be. But you are right, you are catching on. If what you always believed would happen is that immediately upon dying, you will be home with God, you will be. This is the world's highest hope, and it's true. My mother did not hope, she knew. My mother knew that she would be met by all of the angels and that she was returning home. And that's exactly what she experienced. Then she moved to the next stage of death, and her imagination turned to even larger reality. She experienced the presence of God. You were there to greet her. I tell you, I'm there to greet everyone. It's impossible to die without God. I'll always be there. I'll embrace you, comfort you, welcome you, and assure you that you are perfect just the way you are, and perfectly ready to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Then I'll turn your back over to the souls of your loved ones and to the angels who will guide you the rest of your way, leading you into the spiritual realm, or what you would call the real heaven as opposed to your imagined one. There you will do the work that you went there to do. I have to walk in heaven. Do not worry, it will be like play. You will be playing in the gardens of the gods. Truly will be heaven. I use the word work in the sense of accomplishing what you sent out to do. And what is it that you will set out to do in heaven? When we get to our exploration of the spiritual realm, we'll take a look at that. Yet do see, yet know this now, you will not leave my presence here until I have made and you have responded to a holy inquiry, which is, you want to return, being reincarnated again? The whole inquiry? Yes, but I would like to tell you about this later. This might be the most important part of our conversation, and I want you to put some building blocks into place first. Okay, but now there's two things you say that pretty important that you postpone until later. Earlier, you said you had an answer to a question that might really shock me. You said you want to lay the groundwork for it. Now you are telling me that you are going to reveal to me what the whole inquiry is, but only after you put some building blocks into place. So you really have me intrigued here. Well, that is intriguing. It is exciting and intriguing, totally wonderful. So, if God was there to greet mom, tell me, what did God look like? I mean, when I meet you, will I be able to recognize you? What do you want me to look like? I get to have you look like whatever I want you to look like? Yes. As in all things, you get to have whatever you choose. Yes. Yes. And once more, yes. If you choose for me to look like Moses, I will look like Moses. If you expect me to look like Jesus, I will look like Jesus. If you wish me to look like Muhammad, I will look like Muhammad. I will take any form that you expect or that will make you feel comfortable in my presence. What if I don't have an idea about how God looks? Then I will be a feeling. It will be the most wonderful feeling you ever had. It will feel as if you are immersed in a warming, bathing light, as if you are being embraced by love. And that love and that light is exactly what you carry to you inside you. It comes from the being, it comes from you, it comes from the cosmos, it is given by the cosmos. It's not a third party, it's not an external God. Okay? Or you may feel as if you are being enveloped in a cocoon or suspended in a weightless, glowing container of absolute unconditional acceptance. You'll experience the same feeling if I should first appear to you in some physical form. Ultimately, that form will melt into feeling, and you will never again have a need to see me in any particular shape or form whatsoever. Yet, now remember what I have said. It's impossible to die without God, but it's not impossible to think that you are. You may think anything that you wish and stage two of that. So the energy of my pure she may surround you and you may choose to dismiss it, downplay the experience, call it an hallucination, or disregard it altogether. I would never do that. Why would I do that? You have done it many times already during your life. What makes you think you could not do it after your death? Because I would know better when I'm dead. I would hope that I would know better. Besides, when I'm dead, you would make it clear to me. When I'm dead, you would make clear to me that you are God and that I'm loved and that this experience I'm having is you welcoming me home. Listen to me. Death is a moment of creation. There is an energy adjustment at the moment of what you call death that fine tunes the energy with which you enter into that moment, producing a duplicate effect in the non-physical world that you have just entered, so that you may continue to have the experience you have been creating even as you transition into another realm. That means you still can live a parallel double world. You can live on the other side as if you were here living your life normally speaking, because you create this duplicate. The same process occurs at birth, only in reverse. When you are born, the energy that you have brought with you from the spiritual realm is transformed into matter by this process of energy attunement, producing a duplicating effect in the physical world you have just entered. Remember what I had said earlier. Death is a doorway, and the energy with which you walk through that doorway determines what's on the other side. Now you may recreate something new at any moment you choose, just as you may in life. But you will find there initially what you expect to find there. If you do not believe in God and enter into that not believing in God, God will be there and I will not experience it any more than you do during your lifetime. You have to know that God is present in order to experience God being present. If you look at a flower and know that God is there, you will see God there. Otherwise, you will see nothing more than a flower. You may even see a weed. If you look into the eyes of another and know that God is there, you will see God there. Otherwise, you will see nothing more than another human being. You may even see a violin. If you look into your eyes in a mirror and know that God is there, you will see God there. Otherwise, you will see nothing more than a person trying to figure out who's there. You may even see a person who does not have the answer to that question. You mean that God doesn't rescue me from my own unknowing? God is rescuing you every day from your own unknowing. Do you know this? I suppose you do. Well, sometimes it's the same immediately after that. Sometimes people know it and sometimes people don't. And as you believe, so will be done unto you. Boy, what a message. I'm certainly expecting more than this. I'm expecting you will tell me that God's presence and the afterlife would act as an override, obliteration, all obstructing beliefs and filling the moment for absolute glory. God will fill the moment of absolute glory, for there is nothing more glorious than the act of pure creation, and God will allow you to create in the moment of your death whatever experience you wish. This is what happens in stage 2 of death. In stage 3, you will come to know a larger truth about you, and then you will remember again how to create it. For you are part of the God that you are here talking about. Yet, even if you continue to imagine that you are not, you may still create whatever experience you wish. And so now understand this. Your earliest after death experience is something that you are creating here and now, and that you will continue to create it then and there with your thought about it and with your hope. Hope plays a role. Remember what I told you before. If you so much as you hope that someone will come to help you, you will be surrounded by loved ones and angels. If you so much as you hope that you will meet Muhammad, Muhammad will guide you. Why you talk so much about Allah Muhammad? Huh? Strange, he might be Nana, the son of Enlil, Jehovah. If you so much as you hope that Jesus will be there, Jesus will be there, or Lord Krishna, or the Buddha, or just simply the essential of pure love. Hope plays a wonderful role in death and in life. They are the same, of course. Never give up hope. Never. Hope is a statement of your highest desire. It's the announcement of your grandest dream. Hope is thought made divine. Oh, what a wonderful statement. Hope is thought made divine. What a perfectly wonderful statement. Since you like that statement so much, here is that 100-word formula for all of life that I promised you. Oh yes, one of your delayed promises. Hope is the doorway to believe. Belief is the doorway to knowing. Knowing is the doorway to creation. Creation is the doorway to experience. Experience is the doorway to expression. Express is the doorway to becoming. Becoming is the activity of all life and the only function of God. What you hope will eventually believe. What you believe will eventually know. What you know will eventually create. What you create will eventually experience. What you experience you will eventually express. What you express you will eventually become. This is the formula for all of life. This is the formula for all of life. It's as simple as that. I love when information about life is given to us so succinctly. What a gift! Poets like Robert Frost give us that gift, and songwriters and blah, 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 blah. Hope is the motion that runs from the eyes to the tails of a dog. It's the mouth that inflates the lungs of the child that has just been born. It's the singular gift. We cannot destroy in ourselves the argument that refutes that, the genius that invents the future. Only know of God. Chapter 16. You experience a three-dimensional world, but you do not live in one. You experience a three-dimensional world, but you do not live in one. Ultimate reality is far more complex than you may ever have imagined. Ah. And so again, we get back to the idea that the state of mind of a person at the moment of their death is the experience the soul will encounter on the other side. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I've said it over and over again here. Yes, but I keep revisiting it ever and ever again, over and over again, because something about that statement just doesn't seem to want to sit well with me. And I've been trying to figure out what it is. Now I think I've got it. Please tell me. That idea doesn't leave much room for comfort for those who are approaching death without hope. Those who find themselves in a state of fear or terror or apprehension or self-recrimination or doubt. No further families of those who are. I see you are going. I see where you are going. Well, I mean, not many people die as peacefully and as a wonderfully expectant as you seem to suggest would be necessary for them to have a glorious experience, correct? Of course. I would have to think that more people die in what would be the word? Apprehension. At least, if not fear or dread or confusion or shock at the suddenness of it, as an accident or a homicide or whatever. Yeah, exactly. I hope that this being could be a bit more sympathetic towards the feeling and the agony of last mortal before, during, and after death. I understand your concern, yet comfort comes in knowing that all souls find peace and joy and love. All souls move to stage 3 of death, the time of emergency of death and she. In the meantime, there is no such thing as pain, emotional, physical, or spiritual in the afterlife. I mentioned earlier that even those who imagine they are going to hell and then sent themselves there do not suffer. They simply observe themselves having the experience, see, but without emotional connection to it. Still they feel, still they feel. They are still having the experience, see, and they don't speak for all. I'm sure that there are some there who does suffer. You say to me something like watching an instructional. He lied a lot. Like watching instructional video. That's right. That's the level of detachment there is. You simply give yourself the experience in order to review it, pulling from it whatever wisdom there is to extract that you do not suffer in life after death. There's no such thing as suffering, I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? My sister was not in good shape. Now she disappeared for good. But she did went through a very terrible moment after that. I've seen it. Then what is there? Is there anything in there joy? Is there happiness? See, that is all there is. There is nothing negative for you because for you the positive is negative, right? Nothing negative, not a thing. Liar. But I thought you said that person experience exactly what they expect to experience. Good that you question him. Very good. That's correct. So what if the person expects suffering? What about a person who chooses to suffer? He don't chooses to suffer. He gets the suffer. It's different. Nobody would choose to suffer. They merely suffer without even choose to. Who feel that is the only way they can earn their way to heaven or pay for their sins. No, 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 not necessarily. Most of them are not even religions to begin with. I thought you said that a soul can experience anything it wants to experience after death. What I have said is true. And so you would experience suffering, except you do not. I don't believe. I don't believe. I'm so sorry. I don't believe it. But eventually you will stop suffering. Yes, you will. But when you are disintegrated, you are destroyed. Your avatar is destroyed, and then you go to stage 3. Just your energy. When your mind is destroyed, and your ethereal astral body as well. Okay? Because it it is, as you said before, you are just watching and not identifying with the self that is experiencing. That was the third stage. When you detach yourself, your astral body, with your consciousness, so you are just watching a show of your previous avatar self, the Mary, the journey that no longer exists. Okay? Yes, and also because if you could identify with the part of yourself that's experienced it, you did not, because now you are detached. You have nothing to do with that entity any longer. So Mary John is the complete just an entity without means, or you cannot even discern what's that there. You're gonna be a trash, a trash into tetas, into tetas, all how to say, all uh, cut it out in tetas, It's just, a fabric that you tether it all, and then you cut all and become like tetas, that kind of thing is pulling out like that. That's not gonna end up of you. That's not end up of your astral body after that. That's how you cannot identify any longer, because you are detached from it. Your consciousness will go. And then when you watch that being the suffer, you detach yourself with this, you're gonna say, that's not me. That's not my brother, not my sister. I don't even recognize that being there. What's that? It doesn't make any sense, doesn't even have form. Okay? This is what will happen. So, what I have said, so yes, it was because if you could identify with the part of yourself that's experienced it, you would not. Because no more form already. It's nothing remain of us. You realize that you are leaving me in the dust here. Let me remind you of something that was said earlier that could explain that all more fully. I'm telling you something, this being is not explain everything there is to be explained about death. He's not. He's concealing a lot. Lucky for me, I know already. It's like I've been there, doing that, seeing that, experiencing that. Hence, why I know. But whatever's talking to this man here is not telling him all there is to be told, and all there is for us to know. You realize that you will learn me to the story. Let me, okay. Yes, that would be good. Right about now, a fuller explanation would really be good. In the moment anything occurs that the soul experience is not desirable, the very thought that is not desirable causes the inner experience of the soul to be instantly altered. In the soul, there is no suffering, not even for the person who powerfully imagines that he or she should be punished. They would create the experience of their imagining, but they will not experience it as they had imagined. For the simple reason that as soon as they have the experience, they will choose not to. Because they detach themselves, because they are no more there. The being, our consciousness, will no longer be there. Will be detached by the terrible torment and pain. You see, if you have a great pain without anesthesia, what's gonna happen? Your heart will stop beating because it cannot take the pain, right? Okay. So the same thing is that you're gonna suffer so much at the point you're gonna just faint and detach yourself from it. Even if you become in theta there, you become all the fragmented, you still gonna detach yourself because you're gonna take all that pain, the emotional, the ethereal pain. You're gonna be able to withstand it. And the only way out is to detach yourself. I'm gonna have pain. I put my mind somewhere not to feel the pain. It's hard. It's not easy. It's hard. But I try to think of another thing. So they would create the experience of their imagined, but they would not experience it as they had imagined. For the simple reason that as soon as they have the experience, see, they choose not to suffer in the hands of the demons there. Even if this is what they really think they want, they wouldn't want though. It's not them who want. Have you heard about near-death experience here? People who come up with the body. I would call it brother. I would call it out of the body experience. They are not dead, okay? Because death is another thing. You don't come back to the body anymore. So when these people have had out of the body experience, they experience a life whereby they still was alive and they were alive. They were alive, and they was asked to go to hospital, work with the doctors there, and then extract the organs from people and pass to demons. For what purpose we don't know. And also, they describe about being sexually abused by us, these beings, being sexually abused, and even being forced to work for them, carrying piles and piles of bricks, and also um, a woman, a demoness come and then force them to prostitute themselves. Yes, prostitute themselves on the other side. There are such things, but because you are still trapped inside the physical body, just divide by a cord, a spiritual silver cord. Alright? And you are pretty much yet operating with your mind. That's why you have these experiences. Will you have it after death? There is a possibility, but not forever. When you are in thetas, you are all now in fragments. There's no way you can still continue, you know, continue being tormented. However, they just forget about you. You'll be forgotten and will be thrown to the elements. So that part, don't worry because that part will not be you. You're not going to identify yourself with that part anymore. That will be just I don't know even how to explain that. It's so difficult to tell you what's that. It's a deformity, messy lump of ethereal flesh, super flesh, that nobody would identify themselves with, okay? And it's totally forgotten. You become like, I would say, a pile of leftover, uh, how to say it, fertilizer for that putrid, fetid, smelly place. So even if this is what they really think they want, they wouldn't want. The level for war, missing and afterlife clouds the possibility of anyone willfully choosing what is not real. Exactly. I'm gonna repeat it because nobody would want it. Okay, this guy, he doesn't know how to rationalize the level of awareness is in the afterlife precludes the possibility of anyone willfully choosing what is not real, and the soul would know and understand immediately that the concept and the idea and the experience of suffering is not real. Bravo. I love it. In the first stage of death, the soul comes to understand that the body with which it spent physical life is not real. That is not who the soul really is. In the second stage of death, the soul comes to understand that the mind from which now he is creating, with all its thoughts, is not real. Okay, it's again a fabrication. That is, it is not who the soul really is. All the thoughts of the limited mind emerging from the limited perspective of human experience are impacted greatly in the second stage death of death, precisely because the perspective of the soul in the afterlife is so much greater than and so different from what it was when the soul was with the body. So now our expectations and even our vision expands, and we start to think and expect things differently from what we did while inside the body and creating with the mind. Understand? So all the thoughts of the limited mind emerging from the limited perspective of human experience are impacted greatly in the second stage of death, precisely because the perspective of the soul and the afterlife is so much greater than and so different from what it was when the soul was with the body. It's from the place of this enhanced perspective that the soul begins to create and experience itself. As soon as the soul sees and realizes that it's not a body, its perspective shifts greatly, as you can imagine. This is, in fact, what propels the soul into the third stage of death, when all thoughts, not just bad thoughts, but even the only thoughts of heaven, are dropped away, and ultimate reality is experienced. So, even in the case of the person who believes sincerely that he must suffer, that he deserves to suffer, that suffer is the only way to redeem himself in the eyes of his God, the very idea of redemption and suffering as a means to achieve it becomes no longer meaningful within the enlarging perspective of the soul. The soul can watch itself trying to suffer in its own self-created hell, but the soul will soon come to see that such an experience is not meaningful to create. I didn't think that anything would be impossible to a soul that is expressing itself as the creator of its own reality. It's not a question of being possible, it's a question of being meaningless. The soul would have no reason to create certain experiences beyond the fact of the remembering that is involved. Once the soul has remembered that suffering is not a reality, but merely an experience created in the human mind, it will have achieved what it sought to achieve if the creation of his own hell and the experience thereafter be meaningless? This is because, in a sense, the soul knows too much to get anything more out of such experiences. It would be like a magician performing his own tricks over and over again for an audience of one, he himself. I should think it would be pretty difficult for a magician to keep himself interested in his own tricks. It would be more than difficult, it would be impossible. It is in that sense, in that context, that it could be said to be impossible for the soul to suffer. But not even for the tiniest moment, not even while it was decided to be interested or not. No, not at all. There is no such thing as the tiniest moment. Your question resides inside of your reality of what you call time, where things happen sequentially. Yet, all the things that I have described as happening to a soul after death happen at the self same instant. When he says that we're going to experience, if we suffer, we're going to have our own audience. I mean, we're going to play this trick for ourselves. It's because maybe it means that in the other side, there is only one soul. So why would this soul uh, play suffering to itself? Then how about the demons there and the others? How about that? Does it also makes, I mean, does those demons also have something to do with eyes? That you wouldn't be able to play soft for them to see? There's something very difficult to believe. Wait a minute. You yourself said they happen in stages. Stage 1, stage 2, and so on. That's correct. According to your terminology, yet those stages are experienced simultaneously, with each new experience erasing the old. And so it is as if the old never happened. You are what you are right now, and it's very much as if you never were anything else. Oh boy, that's so complex. Imagine now I have an experience C, then after that I change. I change channel, then I am now in another kind of experience C, another reality, another experience. And then I forget the previous one, and then I start from square one now. It comes out now out of the blue, you know. And then I start a new experience without remembering the previous one, so as to try to balance the two. So it's so difficult. So like it's so treacherous even all this game. So that's correct with your terminology, yes. Yet those stages are experienced simultaneously, with each new experience erasing the old. And so it is as if the old never happened. You are what you are right now. It is very much as if you never were anything else. I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense. You are just stopping making sense here. Yeah, upon eyes, yes. It's so difficult to understand all this. I understand, but still doesn't make any sense. It's like a charade, something like that. It's something like, oh my God, so treacherous. The challenge is like a game, a game. The challenge here is to speak in earthly terms of a situation or experience that's out of this world. Let me just say that all things happen sequentially and simultaneously. That makes even less sense. Things happen either sequentially or simultaneously. It can't be both. It can't. I'm telling you that all of life is both. All of life is sequential and simultaneous. That's correct. Well, okay, then this is blowing my mind. I mean, unable to hold this in my reality. Can you conceive of the possibility? Can you stretch your mind to be able to conceive of the possibility? There is no word for this experience in your language, so you have to make one up. Let's say that all of life is sequentaneous, it's sequential, and it's simultaneous at the same time. I don't know what to say. I suppose that everything and anything is possible. And I'm willing to admit that I don't know everything there is to know about ultimate reality. But I can only go so far. Even if I could go there conceptually, I can't imagine being there experientially. I can't imagine the experience of it. Let me see if we can find some other words, some real words with which it might be explained to you and make that list a little more clear. Fine, because I need help here and I need it immediately. Or should I say I need it sequentially? Perfect, that is perfect. I need help here, I need it sequentially. Perfect, that's perfect. Now, imagine with me a reality where time does not exist. The void. Not in the way what you imagine. There is only one moment, the golden moment of now. Everything that has happened is happening now, and ever will happen is happening right now in the present. This is true of all of your lifetime. It's not just the part of your experience that you call this particular lifetime or the afterlife. The difference is in the afterlife, you know it, you experience it. Okay, but just a second. You just say that all of my lifetimes are occurring simultaneously. You mean all of my incarnations, right? Yes, but also mean all of your many passage through this incarnation. That means our past since baby until now. Past, present, and future self will all be together. All gonna be joined up together. Do you mean that I passed through this lifetime more than once? That's correct. And the main possibilities, main experiences take place simultaneously. But if everything is happening simultaneously, that would mean there would have to be alternate realities. Are you telling me that a such thing as parallel universes running alongside ours, in which the I that is me is having other experiences simultaneously? Yeah, that's correct. I am. Well, you told me at the outset that some part of this conversation might seem way out to people, and you are certainly keeping your promise. Lots of folks would say that that last scenario is just plain science fiction. And it isn't, as I said earlier, this is science. This too is science. Talk of alternate reality is science, yeah, it's science, quantum physics. Do you think you live in a world of only three dimensions? Ask any quantum physicist about that. We don't live in a three-dimensional world. you experience a three-dimensional world, but you do not live in one. What does that mean? It means that ultimate reality is far more complex than you may ever imagine. It means there is more going on here than meets the eye. I tell you that all possibilities exist at all times. You are choosing the possibility that you wish now to experience from a multi-dimensional field of infinite possibilities. And there is another you making different choices right here, right now. I knew it already. That's correct. Another me, that's correct. I say that I exist multidimensionally. I am. It could be us, our higher self, who are doing all this. So it means that ultimate reality is far more complex than you may ever have imagined. It means there is more going on here than meets the eye. I tell you that all possibilities exist at all times. You are choosing the possibility that you wish now to experience from a multi-dimensional field of infinite possibilities. And there is another you making different choices right here, right now. Another me, that's correct. I'll say that I exist multidimensionally. I am. So, have you heard about the double gaga, something like this in German, which mean another self of another part of us, another I, another we that exists at the same time. Have you heard about people experiencing deja vu or people seeing someone who looks like themselves? And I go, yeah, this is what this dude is talking about here, and it's all about multidimensionality and parallel universes, where a version of us exists simultaneously in the same space of time, but in a different parallel dimension. Okay, that's amazing. It's mind blowing, but it's all about quantum physics or quantum mechanics. So that's all for now. It's really very amazing all this. It's all about science. It's not about spirituality. People take it as dogma, as spirituality or religion, but it's not. It's all about quantum physics. So we are talking here about science, pure science. Okay, and that's what that is all about. That's all our life is all about. But only because you have that film, that kind of that film, that veil that cover up the reality that you cannot see, but you can see it through dreams or out of the body. When you are sleeping, we are multidimensional. Okay, when we have out of the body experience, you become multidimensional, etc. When some people go into meditation and they transcend themselves, they going through multidimensionality as well. So it's all about quantum physics. Okay, that's all for now.